All right, folks. Here's a new picture that Milwaukee released. Interesting. All right. Definitely a more clearer picture that was leaked on that display below the many weeks ago. But definitely just a clearer picture. Okay. We knew about the two little lights in the front. Looks basically the same. The deck we know silver. You got a little handle in the front. The tires have that little red etching on it, just like in the display picture. But looks pretty beefy, right? Um, it looks a lot like the DeWalt Gen 1 deck. All right. And I think this is geared towards the commercial um, tradesman, the landscaper, the professional. Now, that doesn't mean that the DIY guy, and I can tell you 90% or 95% of the people who buy this are going to be DIYers for their own personal property. Because, I can tell you probably 80% of professionals, especially in landscaping, still don't believe in battery equipment. They want gas-powered equipment. They don't want to deal with batteries and charging. They just want to be able to dump gas in it and continue doing what they're doing. But it does look like a very deep deck, all right? And I think that's what that Gen 1, if you remember, that DeWalt 40-volt line was really, again, geared for the professional, but that was basically the last tool that DeWalt ever came out with in that 40-volt platform. And we kind of knew it was the beginning of the end, only because when the 20-volt came out, it looked exactly the same, except some different color handle, different color tires. So I think they finally said, just listen, this is not going well. This is a great mower. Let's just, make it so it takes two 18-volt batteries as well, and we'll make this our Gen 1 20-volt mower. But again, very deep deck, it looks like here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. We've talked about it, and yeah, and the top looks like it too. Now, this handle folds down as well, and it has a one-handle deck lift, but it looks to be, I don't know if it's front-wheel drive or not. I don't think so, because again, when they're front-wheel drive, you usually have two height deck lifts on it. This only has one in the rear, and I think it'd be very unsmart for them to do a front-wheel drive, but it could be. I don't want to say 100% it's not, but looking at the size of the battery import section here, okay, again, we don't really know if this is a 18 volt or an 18 volt X2, so to speak, or 18 times 2, two 18 volt batteries. Um, you know, I just don't know how you're going to do it, guys, with an 18 volt battery and get any type of runtime. Now, if this was geared towards, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me with this, and listen, I'm probably wrong, but I'm just using common sense here. Now, if this was geared towards the homeowner and, maybe RPM wise and, what they would rate this for, cutting wise and, quarter of an acre, a fifth of an acre. But since this is a commercial, I just don't see how an 18 volt battery can power this. You got to remember, guys, there's a couple 18 volt batteries, couple 18 volt mowers out there, right? Hart makes one, Ryobi makes one. And then we know about the X2 mowers out there that use two 18-volt batteries. But a pure 18-volt battery mower, right? You really just have those two. And TTI makes them, of course. But they're, 18-inch, 16-inch, all right? A 21-inch commercial mower. I don't know. Especially with a steel deck, too. With because it's going to be heavier. I'm going to say this is probably going to be their first two. I don't know. It's, they've never done it before, and they've always cracked jokes saying, oh, well, yeah, they need two batteries. That's because, they're not as good as we are. Because what the tools that they use two batteries on, we only need one because our batteries are that much better. Now, obviously, that's some satire there that they probably use, but I think it's almost impossible. Now, if this is an 18-volt mower, they have really come out with some great technology, and that could be possible because you got to remember how long we have waited for this mower. And maybe they said from the get-go, we are not releasing a mower until we can develop a motor that can power a lawnmower with just one 18-volt battery. So that could be it. But if not, it's going to have to be it's going to have two batteries. Now, I was saying originally, I don't know. I don't think it's possible that you can fit two batteries in there. But with this new picture, it does look like, it's a pretty big import system there. Now, again, that lid comes up. But I don't know if you could... I don't know. Guys, you got to remember how big those 12s are, right? Can you get two 12s in there? Maybe. But, I always go back and forth. Like, right? If this is not some type of new technology that Milwaukee has come up with to power a 21-inch mower. Now, again, this could be an 18-volt mower. I mean, there's no special technology you need. But with a 12 amp hour battery, you're probably going to get 15 minutes of runtime. All right? Now, that's not bad. But, and especially with Milwaukee's, quick chargers. But again, if you're gearing this towards the professional, I mean, the last thing they want to be carrying are those big brick 12 amp hour batteries, like, on them in their, person. Because, they got maybe 5 minutes left on one battery, but they don't want to go back to the trailer and get the other one. Now, maybe they can keep it in here, and it might be something like, it works off of one. Now, that, again, now I kind of think to myself that might be what they're doing, because that's really the only way that they can do it. Now, again, if they sell this with two 12 amp hour batteries, you're going to get 30 minutes of runtime with two fully charged batteries, most likely. Now, it's going to use 18 volts, but when one battery dies, the other one's going to kick on. All right? That might be what they're doing. Okay? So when I say just a pure 18 volt, I'm saying with just one battery, with one import section. But if you can put two in here, so you don't really have to kind of carry it on, you know what I'm saying? That's big. But, we're going to have to see. I'm just answering I'm going because I got people saying they hope it's not just an 18 volt battery because they want, more runtime than 15. Again, at best, maybe they have, this is Milwaukee. they do have a lot better motor technology. Maybe with a 12, you can get 20 minutes. But again, they're gearing this for the pro. But if it does come with two 12s, and again, maybe a 15's coming down, but I don't even know if you can get two in here, but you probably can. Um, but it's interesting. It's going to be interesting. But my personal hopes is for this is that it does run with two, and I know a lot of you guys have hoped that, you know, Milwaukee would do what DeWalt and Makita has done. But, you know, I've been to the MPS and we've talked about it. At least I've talked about it with a few of the Milwaukee reps. And again, that's kind of, you know, they don't want to ever go to two batteries. Not saying that they won't, but, you know, they kind of go off of the fact that, yeah, they need two batteries to power, you know, whatever, a rear handle circular saw. We just need one, right? Um, and whatever. And then all these other, you know, X2 tools are DeWalt tools. Well, now DeWalt has the flexible, of course, as well. Makita is really the company that uses the 218 volts. Now, obviously, they have a new 40 volt out, so you know we're seeing a lot of changes here. But again, I know I've been yapping, but just trying to kind of go back to a lot of the questions. I hope it runs with two X2 batteries, but you know, to be honest with you, if they can do it with 18 volts, as long as they have two import slots in here, it really doesn't matter, right? Because, you know, again, with two 12s, with a, let's say it's a 36 volt mower, all right, uses two 18 volt batteries, you're probably going to get 40 minutes, right? Maybe 30, let's say 35 to 40 minutes. If it's an 18 volt mower, but it has two slots, and when one battery dies, the other one kicks on, you know, you're still going to have 35 to 40 minutes, most likely, maybe a little bit less, but you know what I'm saying? So the voltage isn't that important. As long as there's two spots inside here, hopefully. But again, I would hope that this is, because again, to have a steel deck mower, and I'm being really, you know, when I'm saying 15 minutes of runtime with a 12 amp hour battery, I mean, that might even be kind of stretching it a little bit. But maybe, you know, around there, let's just say. But it'll be interesting. But it does definitely look a lot nicer in this picture. It looks pretty heavy. I don't think it's going to be, you know, I would, you know, you go to these type of mowers, and that's another reason why I like that DeWalt Gen 1, because it was so light and it folded up super easy as well. You know, this looks kind of heavy here. So, you know, you kind of go to lithium ion for the lightness, but, you know, you want a steel deck, it's going to weigh way more. I like, if you've noticed too, it's got like this rubber seal around it, right? I like that, to kind of protect it from the elements. The motor housing there, you know, I don't know why you would need that unless there's something that maybe because of the deck design, because you just see how, look at how deep that is, especially towards the, you know, grass discharge, where the plug is, for the bag, for the rear bag. So I like that touch, to, you know, keep dirt and debris, grass, dirt, you know, out of that area. And I don't know what that black, does this light up and say, hello, welcome to your lawnmower? Like, is that like a screen? That would be pretty cool. But it looks kind of beefy. I like it. Both tires look to be the same height, which is good. I don't really like the big back tire. I mean, it could be just, a 7 and an 8. I don't mind, but I don't like it where, you got like 5-inch in the front and then you got like 10-inch in the back. I just don't like it. It's unnecessary. I wish they would have had a picture from the other side. But all right, folks, we'll catch you on the flip.